Oh, maybe don't have the information for the... I did a stupid. I really hope no one joins, because if they do, I'm just gonna have to immediately leave. Oh dear, that was a stupid thing to do. Whoops. Heh. Oh dear. Hello. I need to resize the window capture. My day's fine, thanks. How's yours? Okay, I just need to... Oh, it made it the thumbnail! Yeah, we're gonna fix that real quick. Of course, I accidentally shared the Zoom information. I just hope no one joins. If someone joins, I will not be happy, and I will be probably terrified. Hi! Uh-oh. Uh-oh, 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 uh-oh. Hurry, hurry, hurry. Where is it? Thumbnail, hurry, just anything. Sure. Okay. Okay, please tell me that the thumbnail changed. Please be different. It's not different. Uh-oh. Of all the things it could have chosen for the thumbnail, it chose the frickin' join stuff. No! This is not good. No one else is here, right? That's not what I want to do. Please tell me no one else is here. Oh. Okay. It looks like no one else is here, so that's plus Among Us. Yeah, I had that image for an Among Us video. Why did the thumbnail not change? This clearly suggest... No! What are you doing? No. I directly said don't show that as the thumbnail. Change. Stop highlighting and change. Oh dear. Can we play Among Us? No. This is a work stream. Not a Among Us stream. Okay, okay, I really hope no one joins, because that would be problematic. My phone's still showing the same thumbnail. What are you doing? Clearly the changes aren't saved. What? I might have to okay. Okay. Well, this is not true, clearly. If I go back here, it's probably gonna have the exact same thumbnail it had before. I guess, is it? Doesn't on here, but on my phone it still has the exact same thumbnail. Okay, I'm just gonna really hope no one else joins, because... Oh wait, I can deny people access to joining, I think. Yeah? Okay. Do you have YouTube Studio? Yes? Okay, I really hope no one is able to join. Oh, it would help if I look at it on here. Let me switch away so you can see the frog moving. Okay. That way you can't see me mess with the settings in case anything happens. Okay, meeting settings. Oh, security. Lock meeting, yes. Waiting room on. Okay. Okay, I think we're safe now. So even if someone did see... I locked the meeting.
so we're good. We're good. Okay. Maybe remove the text so you can see this without a problem. Okay, it's almost real time. Wonderful. Look at the frog move. Whee! It's great, isn't it? Okay. Oh, I didn't mean to rotate. Sorry. Um. Okay. Anyway. Ignore the typing here. It's just temporary so I can write notes on my characters. No, I can't draw sideways. No. I, that's not what I wanted to do. I know what I'm doing. I've used this app for years. It's Froggy. Yes. Oh, Forgy, actually. Sorry. Me over here not reading right. This is just concept art, by the way. I still have monster redesigns I need to do for someone. Um, I hide all the purple, because this is... I did something stupid. Ignore the bits of purple everywhere, it's not good. Are you making another island? Yes. But I'm not gonna lie. Oh, thank you. It's just a sketch. It's nothing too impressive. My sketches are always very not pretty. I look on Instagram and I see all these artists posting these beautiful sketches and I'm like, whoa, that's freaking cool. But also, that's your sketch? That's the first thing that comes, like, onto the page? Like, what? Oh my goodness. Like, it makes me feel very untalented. uh, um, if you want, can you make um, monster for me in your next island? What element is it? Um, I mean, all the elements were visible. You know what? Let's switch to the other sketch. Actually, this one's good. I just combine that to save space. Don't need the template anymore. I don't need the temporary red background. Okay. This one has all the elements visible. It's a little busy looking because it's just flat colors. It'll look better. I don't know what that is, Brad. Um, let's just say it has to do with the pumpkin, the leaves, and whatever this purple, ectoplasmic, um, substances. Let's just say that sort of reveals the elements that are on this island. Okay. Okay, there's some stuff that needs to be mirrored. You know, most of the island needs to be mirrored, kinda, so... What's wrong, Brad? screen share said bye. The chat is having yeah. Goo, pumpkin, and plant. Not quite. I mean, you got plant. Um, what existing elements very heavily relate to goo and pumpkin? Specifically purple goo. They're all literally on the same island in the actual game. Let's just say this island has an ethereal property that makes monsters that normally wouldn't be able to, like, combine into other monsters. It makes it so they can. I agree with Apple. Um, Wonderful. Hello! Your name looks familiar. Hmm. I'm just gonna. That helps a lot. Have you guys gotten interested in any new TV shows or video games or any new media? Or anything, not even like new, but like something that, is there anything that's been interesting you lately? Um, um, I don't think I'm going to remember that. I mean, I can try, but I'm sorry, Red, I don't know. I don't know. I almost said English. I meant Spanish. I know my languages. This is temporarily going to have quite a few layers. I think those are different now. Would y'all like to hear Fiddlement's sound for the Mangrove? I know it's quite a few updates away, but I need to go to school tomorrow. Same. Wonderful. Thank you. Sparky only speaks English, sadly. Sparky can barely speak English. Like, I don't think he can handle any other languages. Let's just pay attention to him. If you mean me, you're allowed to talk in chat. I prefer when people talk in chat because then there's a conversation going, you know? Brad says no. Brad refuses to pay attention to me. I've recently been watching Carmen Sandiego. By recently, I mean literally started watching today, and I'm on like episode 5 or 6. I don't know. It's more kid-oriented than I expected it to be. It's educational. I don't like that part, but I'm hoping it goes somewhere more interesting. I heard it was good, I think, so I'm gonna try to stick with it. I really need to finish up watching the Animaniacs reboot. I really want to watch Adventure Time, but that's like a lot to get into as well. I have so many shows written down to watch, but they're all such like a big time commitment. And I've kind of been putting like all of them off because of that. Um, I know very, very little German. Same with Spanish. Definitely not enough to have a conversation. I know a few very simple German words, but that's all. Oh my gosh, my German teacher was Australian. Not was. My German teacher is Australian. Well, no, was, because she's not my teacher anymore. That implies that she was. Whatever. Um, she's Australian, and she's really nice, and I like her accent. I don't like my accent very much. Uh, those words are vaguely familiar. I can't tell you what any of them are or what that even means, but oh wait, which of these are mirrored? Here, just the bottom two. So they're not really saying much. Um, why'd I scroll over here? I do not know. Um, my sister is trying to watch. I gotta go soon. Well, I appreciate you joining. Um, it's just English. I mean, I can't tell you not to speak other languages. So that's perfectly allowed. As long as you're not saying anything bad. Do Spanish. Brad knows all of the languages. This supports my theory that Brad does not exist in time or space. Brad is an extra dimensional being. You're allowed to speak whatever. I don't mind. Once again, as long as you're not saying anything bad. Not that I'd really be able to tell if you were, but that looks more like a pepper than a leaf, but screen share is slightly laggy. How do I speak native? Good question. I saw someone tell you to do that, and I do not know what they mean. It's just a shortcut. I'm gonna actually fill these in because it's not gonna fill in perfectly. Like that was pretty good. That went surprisingly well. Usually Paint Bucket doesn't work amazingly. Brad, I hate that. Oh no. I don't have school tomorrow. I do. Did I misspeak earlier when you said that you don't, and I thought you said you do? I'm sorry. Ugh, I had to do basically a presentation project, but luckily it was just in front of the teacher. But still, no more enjoyable. It was absolutely horrible, and I hated every moment of it. Um, Unlike real life and in public school, you get redos, because it's in a recording. um, but yeah, fun. Ugh, public speaking. Ugh, public in general. Or like, ugh, people in general, but still. Whatever, I'll fix that up later. I need this to be a little. There we go. A little too hard to see. Um, okay. I just missed a big chunk of the stream. Oh, yay. I see curse word. Nice. Curse words are allowed here. Despite popular belief, this is not in fact a kid's channel. I just happen to make videos about a kid's game. The majority of my content actually is not made for children. Um, like my streams, they're actually the majority of my content, and I mean I know they don't get as many views, but um, they are made for pretty much like teens and up mostly, and demising and monsters videos are just for everyone in general. My channel's mostly for everyone, but at the same time it's also um, teens and up for the streams. Now, I was thinking about, as my channel trailer, probably talking about that. Whatever the... Is that what it's called? I don't know. The first video you see, which is currently the Mongrove trailer. What's this? It's drawing. Hi, Kelly. Oh, yeah, also, hello, Kelly. Okay, this isn't gonna be too fun to fill in. That's the exact opposite of what I wanted to do. Ah. Um, oh my gosh, one time someone was like, drawing using, programs on a tablet, isn't that like cheating, basically? Um, I don't know, isn't building with tools like cheating, basically? You're supposed to use your hands and your hands only. Like, it's a medium of art, it's not really cheating. Um, and how do you cheat at art? Um, I'm gonna show name. Okay. Hmm. Wait, where is my phone? Wait, what? Where? Oh, okay, cool. I hope my video audio is down. It is not. Okay. I really need to fix the thumbnail now. I just had to choose a random thumbnail because there was a problem. I think this is a fire island. Keep in mind, these are not the actual colors. This is, in fact, the just the temporary stuff. I can go back later and color things in properly. Yellow. Okay, we need yellow. This is not. What? I'm confusion. What does this mean? There we go. Okay. This is gonna be annoying, so I'm just gonna carve this out of the color. Okay, we need to make this a little bit bigger. There we go. Please notice me, Sparky. I see you. I've been responding to you. Um, Sparky. Keep in mind there's a stream delay, so wait like 15 seconds to see if I respond to something. But you're correct saying this is not a fire island. This is, in fact, not a fire island. No fire element involved. Hmm. I am not doing that. That's a lot of stuff. I'd like this to be slightly better. There we go. That's good. That's good. Oh, that was satisfying. I like that. Okay. I've honestly improved a lot as an artist. Like compared to when I started YouTube, at least. And just when I started art in general. When I started art, I started off learning how to draw a bird, and what else was it? I keep thinking it was a turtle. No, it's a bird, and what else? Lime. Okay, cyan. Or green and cyan, I guess. Lime is literally just green. In Among Us, a lot of people say lime um, and green instead of green and dark green. I mean, it makes sense because this color is more known as lime. But this is actually just the base green. This is just what green, unaffected by shades of color, looks like. And also, a lot of people say cyan is light blue. Cyan is definitely not a shade of blue. And anyone who says it is in fact wrong. A shade is anything that you can move like this on, where you can change the lightness and the darkness. Like how much black or white is in the color. When, in fact, with blue, you cannot change anything here to get cyan. You just get, like, light blue. Which is actually a lot more purpley than... Or it kind of looks more purpley to me, but... I don't know. Everyone's vision is different and it's kind of weird, but... Yeah, cyan, not a shade of blue. It is between blue and green on the color wheel, though. It is not a mix of... Well, I guess it would be a mix of blue and green. Oh, I noticed that he asked. I don't want him on my channel. Cyan is a shade of blue. Cyan is very much not a shade of blue. That's like saying orange is a shade of red. Like, this is a complete... It's a complete... That's words. It's a completely different hue. Because you can't do anything, like, with lightness or darkness to get cyan. You can only change the hue. Um... But I'm working on drawing my singing Monsters Island, say man. There we go. I have all the base shapes down. Thank you, Brad. Painting this on I actually, thank you. I love that. I kind of want to watch something at the same time as the stream, but at the same time, I don't want to pick it up too much and like Whatever, I'll watch the last 5 minutes of this another time. I can turn this off. Sorry, Carmen, you'll have to wait. Okay. Okay, and has regular blue been used? I don't know what I mean by regular blue. There's only that. Okay, blue itself hasn't been used. Okay. So I'll use that to sort of. Why do I need this to be transparent? I don't think I do. Maybe a little bit. Okay. What's this again? It's an island I'm working on. I let the name of the island slip multiple times in the past. So it's definitely not as big of a secret as the mangrove was. Um, oh, mirroring is on still. That's not something I would like for this, because the purple substance is not in fact trying to be mirrored. Oh, battery is running low. I don't know why it's not plugged in, considering the charger's right here. There we go. That fixes that. How's this battery doing? There we go. 11% is fine. Go away, thank you. Do not want the mouse on the screen. A lot of people do not enjoy that. Go. Oops. I'm kind of confused about how YouTube isn't meant for kids and kids are supposed to be on YouTube Kids, but you're not allowed to do too much swearing on YouTube because then it's not kid friendly. It confuses me a little, but not that I'm someone who does much swearing, but cyan is a shade of blue. Okay, I've given my reason why it's not. Give me your reason why it is. Also, it just is not a valid defense. My defense is it is a completely different hue. You cannot get it by adding black or white. Which is the same reason that it is not, in fact, light blue. Is purple a shade of blue? No. Brown is a shade of orange, though. A lot of people don't know that. Let's get a shade of orange here. I say a shade of orange, but it is orange. Let's get. I guess either just say. Anyway, let's get, sure, like, this is more of a red orange than orange, but it's still orange. And you get brown, right there. Like, in this whole area down here is brown, which is why brown is a shade of orange. However, nowhere here is blue, and nowhere here is cyan. So, not, the purple is not a shade, not purple, oh my gosh, blue is not a shade of cyan. Also, would you consider blue plus green as cyan? Yes. Kind of. Yes. Yeah. Wait, can you get, I wondered that, can you get cyan by mixing blue and green? Let me see. Not like paint-wise, but like actual color-wise. Okay, no, I didn't think so. Yeah, you need to use the actual color scale that includes cyan. Then purple is also a shade of blue. What? What makes cyan then? Well, not combining colors. I mean, but you get cyan from, like, it's on its own color wheel, basically. Not color wheel, but like, in school they teach about, I can't remember which system's the additive colors and which system is um, blue and a very specific white. What do you mean very specific white? Here's everything you can get by get blue and white. Um, what was I saying? Oh, I just realized I flipped this vertically. I hope that didn't happen for too long. Okay, what makes cyan then? Okay, anyway, cyan, magenta, and yellow are on their, like, I can't remember which system's additive and which one's subtractive, but there's red, green, and blue, and um, then there's also cyan, magenta, and yellow. And when I say magenta, I don't mean like a pinky purple, I mean this color. Not Minecraft magenta. Um, it's sort of like red, not, um, you can't really, it's really hard to describe color theory. Color theory is very complicated. Um, my point stands. Then purple's also a shade of blue. What? No. You can't add black or white to blue to get purple, or the other way around. Let's say here's purple. You can't get blue by doing anything here. You can't get purple by doing anything here, nor cyan. Um, thank you, Brad. Um, okay, Brad, maybe, I think Brad meant blue and like a very pale green. And let me see. If you can, that would be cool, but it doesn't look like you can. Yeah, I think it's, I wouldn't be able to tell you why you can't, because I have literally no idea because color theory hard, but um, yeah. My point stands that blue and purple cannot, like, you can't use a shade of blue to get purple. I mean, you can use it to get purple if you mix it with red, but that's mixing, not shades. Cyan is green and blue. Yeah, I could agree with that. Because it is, in fact, between green and blue. Originally, I disagreed with that, but thinking about other colors, like how orange is like yellowish red, yeah, I could see that. Orange is reddish yellow, yes, but it's not a shade of yellow, correct. I mean, I guess it's really on what the definition of shade is. Like, there's the proper definition, and the slang's not the word for it, but I don't think makeshift is the word either. But um, what would the term even be for different hues of something? Because that's what would be blue and cyan and green. But you could say that about literally any color. Like if you change the hue of something, then it can be literally any other color, because that's how colors work. Again, color is confusing. I have a somewhat good understanding of it, or a rather good understanding. But I know that you cannot get cyan by adding black or white to blue. What was I going to say? I do not remember what I was going to say. Watch anything interesting recently? That's what I always default to, because I know people like to, or at least I myself like to talk about things that I enjoy. So what is it you guys enjoy? Do you know slang is slang for slang? Oh my gosh, I did not. Thank you. I didn't know movie was short for moving picture until it was pointed out on the internet. Brad, please. What was I gonna say? Oh my gosh, I'm vertical again. If if I do that, please tell me in chat so I can fix it. I'm so used to drawing vertically because I'm just used to the... I don't even know, I'm just used to it for some reason, even though it's much better to not do it that way. Okay. Oh my goodness, God. Uh, Pencil kind of sputtered for a second, I did not appreciate that. A little? Is the pencil dead? Yes. So that's fun, my pencil died. Oh, and we're at 6%. Um, I don't know if you'll be able to hear this or not, but I should probably do a test. Um, sure, this. Here is, what's this called? Fiddleman's sound for the mangrove. If it plays, I hope it does. Okay, it does. I need to make my device quiet, though. Nope. Let me duplicate it so I can adjust the volume without messing anything up. Okay, this is going well. I hope this isn't really loud. My apologies if this is really loud, but here it goes. Use BandLab 2. Just for sounds that aren't on GarageBand. I hope that wasn't horribly, what's what I'm looking for? Echoey. Brad, please, stop. Thank you. He keeps telling me this constantly, and I don't appreciate it. Here is guest sound for an island. Actually, let me turn that up a little bit. Here, let's turn it up louder. Okay. As well as one from the next island in that series. As if you can't read the names. Brad, please. I really like this monster's sound, so that's a little too quiet. Let's do this. Okay. Casually accidentally plays part of the full song. Whoops. Oh, here's videos that I plan to have in the future. It's Firehaven, but with Candelabra, and since there's only two 5-element monsters, Quint monsters, that's what they're called. I put one on Oasis and one on Haven, and I feel like they really fit there too. Like design wise. So here's Candelabra on Haven. So that was Candelabra on Haven, and I also have Dromedary on Oasis. Here's Dromedary's sound. I'll have it. Here we go. As well as Candelabra's. And it's going to be consisting of 3 different parts, but they all play in a row. It's trying to cut out the quieter audio. So the third track of just the echoing didn't come out too amazingly. But hey Siri, pencil battery. Okay, fine. Pencil battery. No. That charged fast. It just died while I was drawing. But it's good because I need to plug this in. Sorry, rotation. Oh wait, never mind. It rotated in a way that you wouldn't really see, so that's fine. Wow, this is a shame. Oh, bye, apparently. Oops, I need to stop it immediately. Um, gonna share the screen there, bud? Okay, maybe now. There it goes. Oh my god, is he gonna cook the monkeys? I think he should cook the monkeys. As revenge. Wait, cook with the monkeys. Why are you unsharing? Why does it keep stopping? Okay. The heck is that about? We're going for over an hour? Like, already? I was expecting it to kick me out quickly, but it didn't. So, that's a plus. Will it kick me out when that notification comes up? No. Okay. It's kind of surprising. Did you see that? It, like, sputtered. That was rude. I'd like to be able to see the audio. There we go. Okay. Um, what do you think of the dromedary and candelabra thing? I had the idea while writing a poll of like, how do you think quads, or do you think the best way would be to introduce the rest of the fire quads into the original My Singing Monsters game? And I was like, you know what? You might be able to buy them and just place them on the islands. And then I thought, you know, it'd be more likely like that for Quince. My goodness. Somebody come get her. I don't think I ever finished telling my stories of what school was like in each grade. Let me do that. Second, let me open my notes. Let me see. Okay, I think I left off on. Alright, so, Mrs. Um. hmm, We'll call her Mrs. Math. She taught English. No, she taught math. Um, so Mrs. Math was nice, and that's kind of it. That I didn't really have any interesting experiences there. She was nice, except one time, I was going into her class, and turns out I forgot I was in the opposite hallway because okay, so the school with the upstairs floor, um, there were two floors, the downstairs and upstairs, so first and second. So up on the second floor, it's sort of mirrored. Like it's an exact mirror of both on both sides, and um, I forgot I was on the opposite side because I had to go. I forget where. So when I went back to class, I went in just some random person's classroom, and um, I was really confused when I went into the class and expected to see my classmates, but I saw like a bunch of random people. I was like, I don't know. I was like, oops, sorry, wrong class. So I left and went to the correct class. Um, oh, sorry. The thing's off. Let me turn the screen share back on. Then there was Miss Math 2.0. Miss Math 2.0 was the other math teacher, and I only remember that she was tall, had curly hair, and she was really nice. Alright, Mrs. Curse. Um, One time she cursed in front of my friend's class when she was on the phone with her son, and she was like, "Oh, wait, oops." And also, there was this really popular kid who had this rivalry with I believe he's a grade below us. The next person I'm talking about, not the popular kid. Oh, bye, apparently. Zoom wants to. No, stop that. Okay, go to application. Oh, it kicked me out of the meeting. Did it? Yeah, it kicked me out of the meeting. That's the problem. Alrighty. Um, I don't exactly know how to join without showing you. So, wait, I think I can just steal that away. Okay, cool, it's stuck to that. Sorry for the Among Us thumbnail. I kind of had to just quickly switch it. It gives character. Um, okay, cool, I'm automatically muted. Only the host can share in this meeting. Well, maybe I should make myself host. Make host. Yes. Alrighty. Okay, there we go. There's a lot happening in chat. Sorry if I missed something. Oh, next up is, let's call her, what? What is, no. Huh, I don't know why I have that written. I don't even know who that's referring to. um, oh, bye, apparently. Why do you keep not sharing? Apparently my iPad wants the Zoom all to itself. Okay, Zoom, you didn't kick me out again, did you? Why does it keep kicking me out for no reason? I don't understand. Okay, good. Reconnect. Okay. I must turn on video. Oh my gosh. Okay, I need to adjust settings after I give myself host again. Okay, settings. Wait, why is sharing screens under security? I will never know. Okay, okay. Now, the app should in fact be open in the background. Can you stop popping up and saying that the update will be installed tonight when you never install it tonight? It's been saying this for weeks. It lies every time. Okay. Anyway, this next teacher requires I go to the one after first. So, my goodness, okay. So, let's say Mrs. Wafer. I didn't like Mrs. Wafer. She, okay, so something important to note. My mentality was not good at the beginning of the school year, um, and I didn't gain confidence until the school year after this happened. So please understand, I was in a very weak mind state, um, very, very low confidence. And, excuse me, can you not? Um, but we had to put our names in books, basically, like, we had to sign our names like, hey, I have owned this textbook. Stop signing me out of Zoom. Of course you're gonna disconnect from the screen share when I'm out of the app, you frickin' kick me off. Me up to get rid of anything else that could possibly be trying to be open in the background. Hey, still here? Yes. Anyway, we had to sign out books like as textbooks, and apparently I didn't sign my name right, or at least not good enough to her opinion. And she like freaking yelled at me, like literally, at least raised her voice enough that she made it so the whole class could hear that I failed to write my name to her liking. And obviously I know how to write my name. That's not the problem. Problem is that she didn't like my handwriting with it enough, I believe. Or maybe I only put my last initial or something. But she announced it loud to the class, and the way she wrote it made it sound like I did the absolute worst thing I could have possibly done. And, of course, low self-esteem, low confidence, a lot of freaking, like, embarrassment there. I started to cry. Keep in mind, this was a couple years ago. um, like, again, very weak mindset I had at the time. And my friends felt bad, and all of us immediately started not liking her. Um, I didn't end up liking her anymore that school year. um, but then that leads into the next. I didn't have any good experience with her, but Mrs. Wafer was in fact my brother's favorite teacher. Of course, Miley's favorite would be his favorite. Um, but next up is Mrs. What can we call her? Sandstorm. Sure, Mrs. Sandstorm. Don't ask why. I have no idea. Um, there's an A and a D in her first name, so A N and D. So Sandstorm, of course. Um, but she like comforted me then, which was very nice. Uh, I appreciated that. Uh, um, again, I'm not going to cry if it's like just someone not being happy about me not writing my name the way they want. But when it's like when I'm mentally not okay at the time already, not like nowhere near as bad as like other people are and were, but when I'm not in an amazing place mentally already, and when I'm sort of embarrassed in front of like a whole bunch of people that, as far as I knew, I was gonna have to spend the next few years of my life with, it's not a nice feeling. um, but anyway, on back to Mrs. Sandstorm. Uh, no, Brad, that is not her name. But Mrs. Sandstorm. Sorry, drawing. What was the story I want to share? Oh, um, back it was back when I thought I was at least bi, which I was in fact not. But I say we in quotes dated my in quotes again ex girlfriend. Um, I really don't count anything from before I figured out that I was not in fact straight. But what was I saying? I'm back then I mistook admiration for a crush, and literally anytime I would like having a friend, I would be like, oh, this must mean I have a crush on them. But I figured that out now. It took longer than it should have, but anywho, um, let's call this friend ah Glass. Yes, Glass. Um, so Glass. Uh, that it's just as important that we know who that person is, basically. Very nice person in general. I'm still friends with Glass to this day, but I don't know if they'd be comfortable with me saying their name, so I'm not going to. Um, so Mrs. Sandstorm called on me to answer a question. I didn't know and wasn't confident enough in what my answer was, so I was like, pass. And she was like, she made a whole big deal of like, when have I ever allowed students to use the word pass in class? It's like basically every other teacher allowed except her, and I did not realize this. I was like, I don't know, I'm sorry. And I gave an answer which ended up being correct, but I really wasn't sure at the time. Um, and I really didn't want to look stupid in front of a bunch of people I'd have to spend a whole lot of time with. Um, yes. So anyway, uh, Glass had to answer something like not as the next person after me, but the person after that, I believe. Um, and she was like, I don't know. And she also tried to say pass. And the Mrs. Sandstorm looked at me and was like, Dustin, tell her about that. And I just stared at the teacher like, No, why? No, I'm not going to do that. Why would I want to do that to my friend? Be like, excuse you, friend of mine. Why? Why would you say that thing? That's not a thing you can say in this class. Mm-mm, bad student. No, I don't. Why would no? What? I, hmm. All I can say about that is hmm. So, um, she was also just a very disliked teacher. I that year I sort of gave notes to all my favorite teachers about um, how much I appreciated all of them because, like I have written at the top of this notes file, apparently, for some reason, teachers are like temporary parents that judge you based on how well you follow orders and judge how good your memory is. Um, so I wanted to give notes of appreciation to the temporary parents. Um, everyone got a note except for I forget who it was. Who the Wafer, Mrs. Wafer. Yes, thank you, Brad. Well, I'd also like to mention with Mrs. Curse, Mrs. Curse, Mrs. Curse's class, I guess, would is where I got my first boyfriend for like how long did that last? Couple hours. Oh, bye. Let me guess. It did the thing again. Yep. Why? Okay, I imagine I'm back. I hope so. Um, I'm very confused about what you are drawing. It's still the same island. I'm just using these are all different layers marked by different colors, and that's like oh dear. Okay, how to do something. But these are just to help me figure out what to put in what layer. All right, who's next on the teacher list? Yes, Kelly Berry. Yes. All right, so next up is what can I call her? Let's call her Mrs. Hip Hop. So we'll just call her Mrs. Hop because that's a little bit shorter. Mrs. Hop was always just really nice to me. Um, I love showing her my drawings, and she was just in general like my nicest teacher. Um, I think she was the nicest teacher in that whole school building, in my opinion. Um, I remember one time I had to be in a group project with my friend Colin and our mutual friend, and he and the mutual friend would always like mess around basically and just not get things done. And I'd get kind of frustrated. My teacher would be like, you know what? Yeah, that's fair. I won't like penalize you for like not working in a group. You can work on your own if you want. Um, so I worked on my own for quite a bit. Eventually, our little working group went back together, but it was like a group project thing we had to do for a book. And the whole time we read the book, we had to be in those groups. Um, but yeah. Oh, I feel bad because our little group ruined outside reading day because we were terrified of bees. Like, I'm sorry. I feel bad, Miss Hop, but I I have a horrifying phobia of bees. It's nowhere near as bad as my phobia of vomit, but Oh my god, vomiting bees would be terrifying. Vomiting bees carrying syringes. Oh my god, my worst fear. Um, but we kept being terrified of the bees that were out there, and she was like, if y'all don't calm down, we're not having another day out here. And we didn't because we were absolutely horrified and terrified and we were going to die. So we kind of ruined that for the rest of the class, and I'm sorry, rest of the class. I cannot help my fears. um, yeah, sorry, but I'm really not sorry. That's not my fault at all. I just remembered a great gym story. So in gym class, um, one second. That's the story in gym class. The end. Uh, Nastasha and I were fitness walking with our mutual friend Chloe, and a bee flew into Nastasha's bun and just was chilling inside the bun or on the bun or something. And I felt so bad. Chloe and I kept pointing and laughing at her, trying to tell her there's a bee in her hair, and it was horrifying and horrible, and we couldn't stop laughing. Oh, oh dear, it was awful. So now, um, occasionally I remind Nastasha, and I'm like, "Hey, remember the bee? I haven't done it in a while, so I need to do that again." Um, and whenever I'm with Chloe, whenever I see Chloe, our mutual friend, again, I'm like, "Hey, remember the bee?" And we start laughing. There's also the tree incident, um, and also a whole thing with Travis Tricus. Um, but the there was a tree, and it had a branch low enough that you could shake hands with it, basically. So, um, this is relevant information, I promise. Um, Chloe, Nastasha, and I were doing this thing where it would be like snail, snail, before and after things we'd say, like Undertale. Wait, Nastasha has hair. I know it's freaking crazy. It's actually really pretty. Um, but Nastasha, I was like, say hi to the tree and shake hands with the tree, or someone told her to, and she kind of did. Um, she grabbed the tree's limb, shook it slightly, gently, rather, and was like, snail, snail. And then whenever we do it, we just like sometimes I'll be like, remember the tree, and then I'll reach out my hand pretending to shake someone else's hand and be like, snail, snail, or motion handshaking rather, in front of Nastasha, and she'll be like, shut up, and it's great. Um, yeah. Okay, and I like just like that. And boop. Also, I would like to fill this in a little bit. Okay, what's next? I spelled that name wrong, but um, I don't even know what to call her. Okay, I'll call her Mrs. Supercalifragilisticexpialidocious, but we'll shorten that to Low. So, Mrs. Low, she. I would like to specifically select the area. So, oops. I meant to select opacity with this. What did I just do? Oh, I saved layer. Anyway, wait, are the leaves the only thing there? Okay. Oh, wait, no, not okay. Not okay. Okay. Good job, Dustin. Bye, Brad. Have a nice day. Hello again, Sandman. I don't have anything to say about Mrs. Lowe's class, actually. Um, there's nothing of note for my experience with her, so. Alright, Mrs. Richard. Um, nothing of note. um, Mr. Kyle. Alright, so Mr. Kyle. I do not like Mr. Kyle. He is the father of my very disliked schoolmate, or in my opinion, I do not like him, Kyle. Um, he's something. His dad is just very creepy. He was always a little too close with the girls at gym. Um, and let's just say there were quite a few rumors about him. Um, that's it about him. I really don't like him. Let's call this one Mrs. Oh, I remember my elementary school gym teachers. I want to talk about them really quickly. Um, so there was Mrs. Female Gym Teacher, and Mrs. Female Gym Teacher. I really don't remember anything about it, about her gym class. I just remember that we did jump roping one time. Um, and I also remember Mr. Murder Front's gym class, and the people my classmates were very intense, and I think that's why I hate gym now and anything relating to exercise, because I feel like I'm doing it absolutely horribly wrong or look completely stupid just because of how intense my classmates were. Um, just in elementary school gym class, and it like let me switch back to this so it doesn't like kick me out while I talk. Um, what else was I gonna say? That's kind of it. They were just aggressively intense, and whenever someone like wouldn't make a goal, they would get so angry and like, please, it's just a game in gym, stop. And so that casually like scarred me with literally anything relating to gym class or exercise, and it made me absolutely hate it because of their reactions. Alright, anyway, Mrs. I don't even know what to call her. Let's say Mrs. Hurt. You know what? Mrs. Hart, because Jim. Mrs. Hart. So, maybe it was Miss. I think it was Miss. Okay. Maybe? I don't know. Whatever. Miss Hart was just very nice, and, my brother's ex-girlfriend must have really liked her because she was like, hey, could you say hi to her for me? And I was like, sure. And I did. She was like, whoa, you know her? I was like, yeah, that's my brother's girlfriend. And she was like, whoa, cool. And I was like, yeah. So, I remember one time I had a mental breakdown in gym class, and, um, she, like, was very nice about it. um, it was, once again, that year where I had very low confidence and it just wasn't a good year for me mentally. Um, I don't think I really talked to anyone about any of this stuff because it's not really that important, but or not anymore. Because I'm a lot better now. But uh, I also remember my friend Tyler was very comforting then too. Um, I didn't realize that I was apparently doing well in the thing we were doing in gym there. I thought I was doing absolutely horribly. I absolutely lacked confidence. Um, I it just wasn't a good day itself as well. I remember before like that morning I had to warm up my mom's car. Simple thing to do. And I got that wrong. I did it incorrectly and I was like, I can't even do this. I am literally such a failure and I am never going to achieve anything and I'm absolutely horrible at everything. Um so it just wasn't a good day from the start. But I got better throughout the day and then I kept doing bad, thinking I was doing badly at least in the game we were doing in gym class, and I was like, I am doing absolutely horrible and I'm failing everyone. Time to have a mental breakdown. So that happened. Um, I, I think there was just so much pressure on me that year, especially with like still figuring myself out, and there already being gay rumors about me in school. Um, and it just wasn't a good. Well, it was 2 years, I guess. It wasn't a good 2 years for me that year and the year before, or the end of the year before. Um, all right, let's say next one is Mr. Homer. This is the next year. Quite a bit of a better mentality. Um, I'm starting to be more confident. Starting to get a lot better. I'm not quite to the point I'm at now, but at this time I'm still good. Um, wait, who's? Oh, her. Sorry, you can tell that was a good thing. Um, Oh, Dan said good. Oh, wait, I didn't know that was meant for me, but bye to him. If I thought that was Brad, because previous message. Um, but Mr. Homer was something. He really didn't care what you did in his homeroom, as long as you just weren't breaking any rules too badly. Um, I remember one time I had him as a homeroom and study hall teacher. You had your homeroom teachers as your study hall teacher in that school grade. Um, So I remember one time I was waiting for my friend Vicky. I was gonna say Vicky, but Colin. I was waiting for Vic to be ready to study. I had the stuff up and ready, and I was just waiting for him to get done with what he was working on so we could study together. And the vice principal walked in. He started looking at people like, they're not working, they're talking, that person's just playing a game on their computer. Um, that person's pretending to work too, and the person I was pretending to work to that was pointing to was me, and I was like, I was genuinely waiting for my friend so I could study for something. Like, excuse you, Mr. Assumptions. But I didn't appreciate that. Typically I would just play games in his class, but that day was it's really annoying. The day I was actually trying to study and like waiting for my friend to study with me was the day that he was like, "Oh, that person's not doing that." And we didn't get in trouble. He really didn't care, but so that was fun. Um, There wasn't a whole lot to say about Mr. Simp. I follow him on Instagram. Oh, I didn't mean to say Mr. Simp. I meant to say Mr. Homer. Whoops. That was an accident. I hope that did not reveal his name. Moving on. Not that you'd be able to find any of these teachers just by searching their last names. Um, alright, Mrs. I don't even know what to call her. Um, alright, let's call her Mrs. Wait, no, Miss. Sorry, Miss. I forgot that she's not married, and I definitely know why. Um, we'll call her Mrs. TBFNR, which stands for Total Bitch for No Reason. So, we'll just call her Mrs. T for extra short. So, Mrs. T, it was on like one of the last days of school, and since I was doing cyber school for that school district, I was already done early. Um, since I got all my work done. Um, but there was a carnival day, so I came in to be with my friends, and just have fun with them. And there was a scavenger hunt where you had to take pictures of things that were on the list, like say, picture of something green and yellow, for example. And maybe my friend was wearing a green and yellow shirt, so I took a picture of her. Um, oh no, it was like purple something, maybe with something with fruit maybe, and she had like purple pineapple leggings or something. I don't know. So my friend like grabbed her leg and not that sounds very weird. She posed with her leg, and nobody's here to talk, listen to me talk, so I'm gonna draw too. Um, there's not a whole lot to draw. It's just a bunch of placeholder colors. So yeah, we're gonna get back to that. Um, we're just gonna end the Zoom meeting for now and just go back to the Inception thing. It's still showing the screen. Okay, there it goes. Right, that. Window capture, Streamlabs, OBS. There we go. Okay. So I really want to finish talking about my teachers. So, Mrs. T was not very polite. She was known for not being a very nice librarian back when she was a librarian at the middle school. Oh, sorry, elementary school. Um, so she already had that going for her. So she became a teacher or assistant something at the high school, and lucky for me, yay. So I had my phone out because there was a thing where I had to take pictures for the scavenger hunt, but the people in the grade that I just passed, which everybody else was still in, so I considered myself still in that grade, considering that's the grade that I was meant to graduate with, and am going to graduate still in that year if everything goes as planned. Um, so I I was taking pictures like the scavenger hunt asked, but it was like she's like, no, your grade can't have cell phones. I was like, I know. She was like, is that a cell phone? I was like, yes. And she was like, what grade are you in? I was like, I am in ninth grade. And she was like, not ninth grade, sorry, eighth grade. And she was like, eighth graders aren't allowed to have their phones. Put that in your locker. And I was like, I am from the cyber school. I don't have a locker. Um, she was like, well, put it away. As you're in our building, this is our rules. Which is weird because it's a scavenger hunt day to take pictures of things. Why would you do that if a whole year's worth of students can't take pictures of things? You'd have to get someone that you probably didn't know in the grade above you if you'd want to do that, and the people who, like, I don't know. The people who would want to do that are probably the type of people that wouldn't want to talk to other people, because I am, in fact, one of those people. um, so I think that's just kind of dumb. But anyway, she was like, you follow our rules when you're in our building. So as soon as she left, I was like, okay, guess we're not going to be in your building then. Bye. And I sent a message to my friends like, sorry, or no, I walked over to my friends. I was like, hey, I'm going. I can't. Um, and explained the situation. And yeah. So yeah, she ruined the last time that I get to see all of my friends together, like as many of them, like all of them in one place together. Like she kind of ruined that, and I didn't appreciate it. Um, like I couldn't be there. I was too mad. And I was like, I want to take pictures with my friends because it's like the last time I'll get to see all of them together. And yeah, I've been over that. Um, so yeah, I ended up leaving, and yeah, fun. I called my grandma to come pick me up a little earlier than planned. Um, I know this has just devolved into me talking about school experiences, but alright, so Mrs. Mouse. Mrs. Mouse was nice, that's it. Um, some people didn't like her, but I liked her. Um, I thought she was pretty nice. We're gonna turn my volume down a little bit because that's a little bit loud. Um, alright, Mrs. Australia. So Mrs. Australia teaches, you'll never guess it, German. Um, so Mrs. Australia was just a very kind teacher, and I liked her a lot because she was a very kind teacher. Um, I think she was my favorite teacher that year, um, just because she was my nicest teacher. So, um, oh, I already talked about two of those. I didn't realize they were gonna come up later. Um, okay, alright. I remember his name now, but I can't say I already forgot it. I remembered it for half a second there, but I have written down Mr. Spanish Guy because he taught the Spanish class. Um, so Mr. Spanish Guy, I didn't like him very much. He seemed very strict. Um, I just didn't like him very much. Um, his class was the last public school class I had, because I had to do a presentation before I switched into cyber. Um, all right, so next up, these are the teachers I have this year and last year. Um, before we get into more of the side teachers. Um, all right, so first up is, let's say Miss Black, and it's a pun on her name, which is great. So Miss Black is honestly really nice. Um, all of my teachers this year are extremely nice and are a lot nicer than a lot of the teachers at the previous school. Um, so Miss Black is my homeroom teacher, and I imagine will be for the rest of my school experience in this school. My school experience in this school. My experience in this cyber school. So, okay, yeah. I had to make sure my computer was charging. What is it? What is it at? 19. Starting very slowly while streaming. I think it might have went down. I don't know. By 1% maybe. Okay. Um, so Mrs. Black is just a rather nice teacher. Um, she's I don't really know what to say. I don't like how she has us read out loud in class sometimes, and also both times my friend either just happened to get out of it or just couldn't do it until there was the shortest. I say friend, not friend anymore, but shortest paragraph. He couldn't read it until we got to the shortest paragraph. Just happened to be then that he was able to read. But anywho, um, um, overall, Mrs. Black's a really nice teacher. She's not extremely strict. Um, she doesn't give a whole lot of like too hard of assignments. Um, yeah. All right. So next up is we'll call him Mr. Combs. Mr. Combs is my absolute favorite teacher ever. Um, I would always get my work done, and when I wouldn't be able to, maybe like once or twice, he would be very understanding. Um, I mean, sometimes like the whole, not whole class, like pretty much everyone besides me wouldn't get something done, and he would get very frustrated because he didn't have extremely high expectations for us. Not he didn't have low expectations, where he wasn't extremely strict, and would push due dates back to give students more time to do things, and students still wouldn't get it done. So I really get his frustration. Um, but one of my key memories with him was one time I joined his class and he had a pride flag up. I was like, "Hey, why do you have that there?" And he was like, to show that everyone's welcome in my classroom. And that was the end of that conversation. But recently this year, I was like, hey, I was thinking about that moment recently, and I just wanted to say I really appreciate that as someone who is part of that community. And yeah, he's my favorite teacher. And then I'll say Mr. Worker. I had 3 classes with him last year. I had the one was only half a year, but still, like 3 classes for half a year and then 2 for the other half. My goodness, quite quite a lot of class time with him. He was rather nice. Um, it's not a whole lot to say about him. He's I saw pictures of him and he's more buff than I expected. I don't know why I didn't expect that, but I don't think any of my teachers looked the way I imagined them, besides maybe Miss Black. Um, all right. So next up is Miss Moss. Sure. So Miss Moss is my absolute kindest teacher that I've ever had, and she teaches science. Um, and I'm actually somewhat enjoying my science class I'm having this year, even if I'm not doing amazingly at it. There's a certain part of it that's kind of fun to do, um, such as naming specific things as well as solving certain equations. I know it sounds really boring, but it is rather fun. This isn't a very exciting stream. I know everyone left now, but this is stuff I wanted to talk about. But if I'm ever not able to make it to class, she'll be very understanding. Um, Sometimes I miss my alarm or I oversleep. It happened like twice in 1 week, or 3 times in those 2 weeks rather, because once the week before as well. Like once the week before and then twice in that week. It wasn't good. But she was very understanding and didn't count me absent and gave me what I could do for attendance credit every time. And she's just a very kind and very understanding teacher, and I really appreciate that. All right, so next up is. Oh wait, I should add someone else to the list because she like just got here. All right. So next up is Mr. Gutter. I don't know why that's what came to my mind, but Mr. Gutter, sure. Um, he's the teacher I actually know the most things about. Um, Mr. Gutter is a gamer, kind of. He's obviously not as much of one as a lot of people I know, but he's still into games. And that's pretty freaking cool. Um, he also is into a lot of reading. Um, I mean, I'm personally not, but hey, I respect it. Um, and obviously he likes history. He's my most strict teacher, although he's not extremely strict. Um, I always get my work done, and he always tells me how appreciative that he is of that, and I think that's pretty cool. I think more teachers should show their appreciation to students, but then again, how many students do like most teachers have? Like a lot. These teachers don't have as many as like they didn't have as many until like this year. Last year there was a lot less students, but a lot of people wanted to switch to cyber this year because of COVID. Um, but uh, what was I saying? I don't know. The classes used to be relatively small. They're still relatively small. I had a class where it was usually just me, or half the time it was just me and the teacher. And sometimes I'll talk about that later. Sometimes there would be 2 or 3 people there. Well, one or two other person besides me and the teacher. Um, was I gonna say anything else about Mr. Gutter? Mr. Gutter sometimes has us do like voice recordings for answers, and I don't like that. Usually just for extra credit, but sometimes it's required. Like twice. Wait, yeah, like twice it was required. I didn't like that. And recently, and by recently I mean like this weekend and Friday. Well, Friday, but you could do it this weekend if you weren't ready. um, you had to do a video assignment where you recorded yourself on camera too, and I hated it. Oh my gosh. I I can stream and it's perfectly fine, but for some reason I can't bring myself to talk and be on camera for school. I just I'm just not comfortable with it for some reason. I don't know why. It's I guess here because it's on my own terms and doing what I want to do. There it's I could do something really stupid and get in trouble because I have an authority figure over me. Um, like one time in Mr. What did I say his name was? Oh, Mr. Combs. In Mr. Combs' class, I typed out Nastasha's name and like put some keyboard spam in it, and I tried to pronounce it to myself, so I whispered it to myself, and someone in chat was like, "Hey, Dustin, you're unmuted," and I was like, "Okay, I'm sorry, I was trying to pronounce a word, and then I muted myself." That was a little embarrassing. I immediately heard Nastasha saying, "I tried to pronounce what the keyboard spam was that I just did. I just tried to pronounce it out loud, and I was unmuted in class." It was not fun. Um, Alright, so next up is Mr. Tech. Um, Mr. Tech, he knows about my channel, and he knows I'm a Steven Universe lover. That's and that I also like all my teachers know I like to draw. I send them my drawings sometimes, and that they usually like them, I guess. Um, they're supportive at least. Um, so sorry, I didn't mean to like. Where even was it? I can't do it again. Oh, there it is. Does that pick that up? It's like I'm trying to see if this picks this up. Okay, yeah, slightly. um, but anywho, Mr. Tech. Um, I had to see him in person somewhat recently because we had to get our laptops updated, and he's the tech guy now, and he's the only one who could do that. He was the gym teacher before, and I don't know what else to say. He's just a pretty cool teacher in general. Very nice. Uh, very supportive of students. He tries to bring memes into the classroom, which is some of it's a bit of boomer humor. Not like boomer humor, but like more, less, more or less, less, like wife bad boomer humor. Like not the bad type of boomer humor, but like more of, uh, like puns, mostly puns. Um, oh, for some reason I didn't include Mrs. Um, we'll call her Mrs. S for student teacher. Mrs. S is taking over my history class this year. She's the student teacher or the teacher assistant or something, but she's sort of taking over the class for a bit. The actual teacher is still there, but not that she's not an actual teacher, but um, the teacher whose name is on the course is still there, of course, but of course, she is sort of taking over the talking and teaching. All right, and finally for the list of main teachers is I don't know what to call her. We'll call her Mrs. Young. Sure, why not? Mrs. Young watches my YouTube channel every now and then, which is pretty cool. Um, she shows her kids some of my Singing Monsters videos. Not her kids, but her nephews and maybe kids. I don't know. But I remember I would turn my camera on and turn my microphone on to talk to her because it would be just me in her class. Um, and yeah, that's kind of it. Well, no, that's not kind of it. I like how she would like use her life experiences to sort of relate to the lessons that we were talking about in class. Um, like I had a parenting class with her, and she would use her. I think it was nieces and nephews. if I remember correctly. I'm not quite sure. As examples of when she encountered the stuff we were talking about in real life, um, which was pretty cool. I appreciate the way she related that. Um, I also like how she took an interest in students. Um, or at least I know she did in me because I was usually there very early in class, and we'd be able to have conversations, um, mostly about YouTube, drawing, that kind of stuff. I still have to draw my teachers as my Singing Monsters characters, as per her request. Um, all right, so more on to the, I guess, side teachers, I'll call them. Um, so here is Mrs. Pixie, sure, Mrs. Pixie. A lot of people really didn't like her, and I didn't at first either, just because of popular, um, like hive mind, I guess. Not hive mind, the group thinking kind of thing. But she, I showed her my drawings, and she was like, "Would you like to draw the cover for uh, the chorus program thing?" And I was like, "Sure." So I did, and it was pretty cool. Looking back at it was a middle schooler's work for sure, but still. Um, she was all really nice to me, and I appreciated her. Um, this next one is Mr. Carr, which is probably not a good nickname considering there is someone. You know what? Okay, so Mr. Carr he was the chorus teacher the next year because Mrs. Pixie went and did the band teacher as the band teacher left. Um, all right, so what was I gonna say? Um, a really exciting stream, I know. Mr. Carr, remember he made us do a singing project and I hated it because I had to sing in front of some of my classmates, including Nastasia, Chloe, and another very quiet, nice kid named Jason. I wonder how Jason's doing. Good guy. But, what was I saying? Mr. Carr, he was like, I'll add voice filters to make it so no one can tell who it is. And then he proceeded to add the lightest voice filters because he wanted to be able to still tell who was. And I think that was a bit rude. And I didn't like that he played them in front of our class, especially considering we all had to sing in them. And I don't like my singing voice, and I don't think anyone does. But still. I mean, likes their own and mine, but mainly their own. Um, alright, so next up is Mr. Education. Call him Mr. Ed for short. So, Mr. Ed, I remember one time, I told the story last time, Mrs. Minus, I might have called her, I don't know, whatever, second grade teacher for the first half of the year, who ended up coming to my next school that I transferred to. But, so Mr. Ed was the art teacher, and Mrs. Minus pulled me into his room and was like, "This is a good student," and it was terrifying because I thought I was in trouble and I thought she was being sarcastic, but she wasn't, and she was serious. Um, so Mr. Did I really have any other experiences with Mr. Ed? I remember one time it was back when I was in cyber again for that school. Um, I had to bring my phone with so I could contact my parents or grandma, I guess, to be like, "Hey, please come pick me up. I am finished with the test." And the teacher accidentally left my phone on the cart with the tests that went to the office, and it ended up being confiscated there. So, like, instead of keeping it on her desk, so I later had to go to the office with that teacher and, like, get the phone. And the principal, Mr. Ed, was like, why did you have a phone? These are statewide tests. I was like, it's just before and after the test so I can get here and get back home, basically. Um, and I just gave it to the teacher and she forgot to get it off the cart. He's like, oh, okay. Pretty chill about it, so that was cool. Um, Alright, Mr. Pretzel. I don't remember anything about him because I just transferred there like a year or two before he stopped being principal there. I think he retired. I remember everyone liked him. So that was good. I remember he had a little carnival thing. And he got his hair dyed. And I also got my dad and I got our hair very. It was not permanent dye at all. It was very temporary. um, so yeah, Mr. Pretzelland was something. All right, so Mrs. Mara, we'll call her that. Um, oh, she had this thing where it would help students transition into high school, and it was more of the kids that she thought were probably social outcasts. So my friends and I, basically, um, along with a few others, and yeah, she sort of took us there every Friday and would have us. Oh, we'd each have like a buddy kind of that would be in high school. We didn't have a specific one to us, but there'd be like a group of us assigned to a buddy, and they would talk to us about high school life. It really wasn't much different than middle school life. I really don't think it was that necessary. It, I don't think we really needed that much preparing, considering nothing was really different. So, um, all right. So let's call this one Mrs. Pottery. We'll call her Mrs. Yeah, we'll just say Pottery. There was no good alternative. Um, how's my computer battery doing? Oh, it charged by 2%. Wait, no. Yeah, yeah, 2%. I know how to count. Um, so Mrs. Pottery was the art teacher. I still follow her on Instagram, and she looks so different now. Like, I swear, like, one picture she looked like one way, and the next she looked totally different. Um, but I guess there was kind of a gap between the posting there. So I guess, or at least between the selfies anyway. So I guess time does that, huh? Faces really change. Um, but I can still recognize it was her. So that's a plus. Um, remember she was pretty cool. I looked up to her. And that was before I realized I liked art. That I started looking up to her. She was just really cool in general. I don't have a lot to say about her because I don't remember a whole lot. I was pretty young. Um, I don't remember her name, but I'll call her Mrs. Melody. And Mrs. Melody was the music teacher. I don't remember anything about her except that she had a pretty singing voice. Not a lot to say about that. Um, all right, so Mrs. Brief. Mrs. Brief was the music teacher. My parents noticed the way that she would get into the songs as they were playing and slightly dance, and I think that's pretty cool. Glad she was enjoying her job at least. She looks a lot different than I remember her, but that was back when I just sort of recognized faces instead of actually like taking in the different features that actually make faces recognizable. I start looking at people like for too long, I start like actually seeing what makes them unique as a person. It's kind of cool. Um, like physically what makes them unique as a person. And it's so interesting how there's just minor differences about everyone that just make them different. And we can remember these minor differences subconsciously. And I try to do it consciously sometimes so I can actually like know what they look like without just being like, "Oh, yep, that's them." Like I wouldn't be able to tell you what certain people looked like since from that I've seen before I started doing that, or who I just haven't examined very much. Not like examined. That sounds very creepy. But like when having a conversation, um, like I don't know, like seeing their whole face instead of just seeing a face and then recognizing that face later, like actually knowing what they look like. Um, I already talked about those two. Let's call this one Mr. Unicorn. Mr. Unicorn was the art teacher. He also coached a college football thing, I think, or high school football. I don't quite know. but he was an art teacher, and he teached art. Taught art. Yes, him teached art. I might need to go back to English class. Um, so I don't think there's a whole lot to say about him. Just memories of the class. I remember I was like, "Hey, Nastasha, want to hear my clown laugh?" And she was like, "No." So I didn't. And I found that funny, just the way she said no. So I laughed, and she's like, "I didn't want to hear it." I was like, "That was my normal laugh," and we burst out laughing. It was great. It was a great time. Also, waffle fish and something lawnmower was great. Um, I remember my friend Tyler and my acquaintance Chase in that class. 'Twas something. I don't think it's enough information that you could look them up. So, next up is Mr. Free. Um, Mr. Free was nice to me. A lot of people found him creepy. I didn't find him very creepy. I think it was a case of just rumors because it's a guy teacher. Um, although, um, like I haven't heard like rumors of a specific person. It was just not memories, just rumors of this person has done this. But it was never consistent, I guess. I don't know. I'm gonna turn that off. I'm gonna turn on my camera. Oh, I did that. Don't mind my hair, um, or the background or anything. But I'm reading from a list. That you can totally see the. I'm gonna sit upright. Okay. Okay. So back to talking. This is a horrible posture. Sorry. I'm sure it's fine. Um, I'm sure it's fine. One moment. Yeah, seems fine. Okay. I think we're good. Okay. Hello, hello, hello. I should probably turn off my flashlight. Dark, ominous hallway. Spooky. Thought I heard noises, but I think we're good. I hope. Alrighty, so um oh, I just remember Mr. Free. What even was um hmm, I don't remember anything too notable from that class. I remember when I sent him my appreciation letter, he actually like called my parents and told them to thank me and that it meant a lot, so that was cool. Um, Next up is Mr. Steele. I didn't get to know him that well. He was just the chorus teacher that I had for like a quarter of a year because I decided, no, this isn't it. Actually, not even a quarter, like an eighth of the year. I was only in that grade for half the year, or in public school for half the year. I remember I had a whole quarter where I wasn't in it, so I think I left halfway through the first quarter, so that'd be an eighth of the year. Yeah, fun. Wasn't in there for very long. I didn't know him very well. Um, okay, call this next one Mrs. Paintbrush. Um, Not a whole lot to say about her, honestly. She was just a nice art teacher. Um, Relatively nice, anyway. I remember I had class with a friend there who is no longer with us. Um, remember my friend and I would have a lot of fun. Um, she was like, "I'm gonna help you get a boyfriend," and it was great. Um, we actually got very close, but once we didn't have that class anymore, we like slipped right back out of contact. Um, I definitely still consider her a friend though. She's not like an acquaintance or anything. She's like a friend, a relatively close friend. Um, oh, actually, I don't know about relatively close. I'd say a friend at least. Um, Yeah, she was just a fun person, and she was a great friend. Um, and she was one of the like there are a few friends that we would like say I love you platonically, and she was one of them. Others being Alexis and I think maybe Nastasha once or twice, um, as well as Summer a few times as well. Um, if I remember correctly, I might not be remembering correctly. I don't know, but I know Alexis and this friend was definitely. Um, all right, so next up is Mr. Tech Guy. I forgot about him. And also my guidance counselor. The only time that I really had a whole lot of interaction with them is when I was switching cyber schools. Cyber schools, words. Um, oh my gosh. Mrs. We'll call her Mrs. Puff. Sure. Oh my god, not Mrs. Puff. I didn't even think about that's the SpongeBob teacher. No connection there. Promise. I just remember she was an assistant, and she wasn't as mean as my homeroom teacher in middle school, but she wasn't the nicest, but she wasn't horribly mean. She was more strict, I guess, and just wanted things to be done. She was more of a helper than um, she was a helper, not a teacher. But oh, there was also let's say Mr. Stanley. Mr. Stanley was a very nice helper, just in general. I don't. He was just really nice, honestly. I believe he served in a war at some point as well, and I don't quite know why, but for some reason know that like the cartilage between his joints and bones and stuff. I don't quite know exactly where it is, but um, at least in his hands, was worn away, so hand movements weren't exactly the most comfortable for him. Um, oh, and we're on the final one now. Final one. So Mrs. New. I remember I had her as um, I don't remember where I had her. I I don't know how I knew her. I just know that we were friendly basically, and I think maybe she helped me with reading when I was younger, because I was slightly below reading level. It wasn't like anything too bad because I was above the reading level that she was teaching, but like under the reading level that I was supposed to be on. So it was kind of annoying. Like I I need higher than this but lower than this, but there is nothing that exists there. So I don't know. Um, but I remember she helped me with reading stuff for a while, as well as did reading testing for students. But eventually I stopped doing that. Um, and I just remember when I went to a fair thing for my my old elementary school. Um, I went there and she recognized me. And I was like, "Hey!" I couldn't think of her name until like quite a while after I saw her, and it's just so weird. Like someone completely slipped my memory, and I don't know how. I don't have any vivid memories of any interactions with her besides the one where I recognized her most recently. I she's just familiar. She's just there. I don't know any specific memories with her. Just that she was there and that she was pretty nice actually, like really nice. Um, there was also I forgot about this one. She popped into my mind. We'll call her Wavy because she would direct the cars when going to pick up kids. She really didn't need to, and it really wasn't much of any help because people were just doing things that way anyway. Um, but Mrs. Wavy was uh her. I had her as a another helping with reading teacher. I believe in fourth grade, maybe fifth. I don't know. I think fourth. I believe fourth. Um, and she had a rule of no elbows on the table, which I thought was really weird because I constantly like to do this. I mean, I don't anymore. It's something I didn't even notice I was getting out of that habit, but I've gotten out of that habit. Um, and she had just interesting rules, and I don't remember any of them besides no elbows on the table. I think one of them was, I don't know, that's the only one I can think about. Um, yeah, so I just remember that she would direct traffic for no reason, or uh, the cars coming to pick up students for no reason, as well as well, more. This place is old, so I guess it makes sense that it is creaky. Um, I don't like that my door doesn't have a lock anymore because I broke it on accident. I forget what I was saying. I don't think it was that important. So yeah, that kind of sums up all the teachers. Um, I don't feel like going back into the screen sharing view. Sorry, that was spooking. I don't like it. So I'm just gonna draw here on camera. If I'm being honest, I'm very anxious now, so I really. I'll turn off the stream. So, yeah, here we are. Alrighty. I haven't revealed it earlier in the stream because there were so many people here, but now there's like one viewer, and we're like 2.5 hours in. I'm gonna say the island I'm working on is Plasma Island, and you may have seen it by the name, but this is what's gonna be coming like during and after the Mangrove. The ethereal islands are gonna be few and far between. There's gonna be 5 of them. Just that's less than. I think that's my shortest series actually. Having 5 islands. If we're not including Casino Island as a series, considering it was just one island. It's like it's my shortest multi-level island series or multi-island series. Sorry, that's probably not fun to look at. Okay. Alrighty. There's nothing too exciting happening right now. I'm just kind of coloring. How you doing, viewer? I don't know if you can interact in chat or not. Yeah. Words. Sorry for stuttering a bit there. Okay, I've decided I'm going to color in the leaves first. Which is actually the only thing on this layer. I have part of Shadow Island stuck in my head. Yeah, there's gonna be a Shadow Island. If that's something I should mention. Okay, I want to make sure I didn't accidentally do a brush stroke there. I'm gonna do the leaves in an interesting way here. Oh, everyone left. Okay. No more interesting stories, no more seeing me draw, apparently. That's not worse. I guess I see why people would leave.